Hello and welcome back to the Mommy Issues podcast. I'm Brittany,
And I'm Sadie.
and this is our second episode of this podcast. If you haven't listened to the first one, please go back and do so. It was the postpartum issue, which I thought was a really good episode. I think we had like a lot of good conversations during that episode.
Brittany cried a bit.
I did a little bit, but I think that there's going to be so much more to the postpartum issue, but we don't want to bore you with all of that. So we're going to kind of move on into another kind of issue of the fourth trimester, which is the identity shift issue.
There are so many changes that happen in your own personal life and your psyche after you have a baby, and it is so important for us to dive deep into that issue as well.
Yeah, so I think like with a lot of things, like with the fourth trimester, like your life like totally changes. So it would make sense why you would have kind of like an identity crisis during that time. Like your whole world is like flipped upside down.
I feel like for me, as soon as I saw my pregnancy test, as soon as I saw the positive, I knew my entire life was about to change and I was going to be a completely different person. And I feel like that's part of the reason that I had such bad prenatal depression. I know I talked a little bit about that in the first episode. So if you didn't listen to that, go back and listen if you want to be caught up. But I feel like most of my prenatal depression was centered around this whole identity shift. Um,
Yeah.
I went from a college student, bartending, drinking a lot, having fun, partying, having friends, to seeing those lines and knowing I cannot have that lifestyle anymore. I cannot be that person anymore. I have to take care of myself. I had to quit vaping. I had to get off my meds, stop drinking, stop bartending, take good care of myself. And that was really hard for me in pregnancy.
Yeah.
Towards the end of my pregnancy, though, I started seeing my body changing. I started getting stretch marks on my boobs, and I got really big in my third trimester. So then it kind of shifted into like feeling like I wasn't going to look like myself or feel like myself in my body and being worried about not bouncing back.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I had her, I feel like all of that dissolved. The second that I brought her home, I feel like a breath of fresh air was breathed in my body. And I don't know the exact moment that it hit me that like this is who I was meant to be, but it did quickly. And ever since then, I feel like I've found my style. I've found my new hobbies, my new friends, and it was all come really naturally to me, honestly. So at first, it was definitely a negative feeling during pregnancy, but as soon as I had her, it was very, very overwhelmingly positive
Yeah.
and pretty immediate.
Yeah. I I didn't like see it's hard because I with three of them, it's interesting because I feel like people say like you have an identity shift when you become a mother, but I don't agree. I think that you have an identity shift after each child because
Oh, I
like
so believe that.
I've felt different after every single one of them, and like I've I feel like I've gained parts, but I've also lost parts after each one. So like
That's interesting.
like after my first, I was so young, I didn't really have an identity. So like I gained the identity of a mother. That I didn't have anything. Like I was so young and like I didn't even know who I was, and then I had a baby and then I was just a mom. And I feel like I was
Yeah.
lucky in the way of like I had a lot of help with her, so like I still lived my life and I still like had a job. I still went out with my friends. Like I still lived that like 20 something life with my toddler still. Like I was very lucky in that way. Um, but like I didn't really feel I had like an identity crisis after I had her, like at all, honestly. I feel like I gained a sense of self with her. But then like I think also like identity shift isn't just like how you see yourself in the mirror or how you like view yourself. I feel like it's also like feeling resentment over like the new life you have.
For sure.
as well, which I think that I definitely have felt resentment multiple times, especially after having multiple children. I feel like sometimes it's hard because like you like for instance like I'll have family over and I'll be stuck inside with the baby, you know, and it's like
Oh,
you
yeah.
have like a little thought in your head like okay, like if I didn't have the babies like I'd be out with them too, but like I'm stuck inside with the baby because it's too cold outside or what have you, you know. And it's just like I think that
Yeah.
that's a huge identity thing too because it's like you have to be okay with the fact that you're not going to be involved in the way that you were before.
That's something I've actually personally experienced, but specifically with breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I'll whip a tit out in front of anybody, anywhere. I don't care, but I never want to make anyone else uncomfortable. So most of the time I don't,
Mhm.
unless, I know for 100% fact that everyone's okay with it. So most of the time, if we're like in a public setting or like hanging out with friends, I'll have to like excuse myself and go to a secluded area and breastfeed my child for 10, 15, 30 minutes sometimes,
Yeah.
and I'll miss out. And I do feel FOMO. I do feel like I'm missing a good conversation or I'm not getting the same amount of time as as my boyfriend is, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like he's still in that conversation and I'm in here feeding her. So I
Yeah.
definitely feel that, like specifically with breastfeeding though.
Yeah. But like, okay, here's one that you probably would feel though. For instance, you can't leave and go to the store unless you have someone to watch Charlotte and or someone is there and you usually would have to be like, "Hey, I'm running to the store," or ask, "Hey, can I run to the store?" But
Or can I
before
take a shower?
exactly, literally
Yeah,
exactly. But like
you lose so much
you lose
autonomy.
so much like freedom in that way because you can't just leave the house and do whatever you want like you could before. And I feel like that's super jarring when you have the first
Oh, it
realization that like
is.
that. Hold on one second.
No, you couldn't hear it at all.
Screaming like I was murdering the child. Oh my
We need a
God.
blooper reel. We need a blooper reel.
Ah. Okay.
But anyway, bouncing off of that, I something else that I didn't really think about until you brought that up is that you don't have control over your own body anymore. And I feel like especially as a breastfeeding mom, but as a mom in general, like I one thing I really do miss about my old life is not being touched
Oh my God.
constantly.
Constant. Yes,
I
I
was
agree.
just talking about it with Jack. I'm like, you don't understand, like such a small percentage of the day is me not being touched by anybody.
Yeah.
I'm touched out, I'm overstimulated. She's feeding from my body. She lived inside my body for almost a year. She sleeps on me, has to be sitting on me or hanging on me at all points of time. And it's just exhausting. And I miss having the freedom to not be touched by somebody. You can't say no when it's your kid.
No, I totally agree. And like my husband and I, like we struggle with that too because he doesn't get it. And he'll like come home and he'll like touch me immediately and I get so annoyed and like I need to chill, but at the same time, like I'm like, you don't understand. Like you don't
No, and they
get it.
don't get it.
Like
Like they're
get
not trying
off
to be
me.
annoying.
No, and I feel bad because like I don't even like to be kissed or hugged or anything anymore. And it's like I feel awful because like that's like his love language over here. And I'm like don't
Jax too.
touch me. Like, don't touch me. I can't take it. I literally can't take it. Like, it's become an annoyance and it's sad, but like,
Well, yeah, because
I
it's not
do
like,
miss that though. Like, I do miss not feeling that way.
yeah, you lose that part of your identity too. Like
For sure.
the the physical affection kind of isn't the same as it
Yeah,
used to be.
it's
And I feel
not.
like once your kids grow up, that'll probably come back.
Okay,
That'll
so
probably go
I will
away.
say that. No, that's another thing. I feel like I have a very good outlook on a lot of things, I think, when it comes to like parenting and especially with multiples, mainly for the fact of the age gap that Maddie has with Sienna because I've gotten over that hump before. You know, like
Right,
when I had Sienna, Maddie was almost 9. So like
right.
I was at the point where I was so myself again and so like I don't even know the word, but like I had that freedom again, and like I was able to not be overstimulated, and I felt like myself again. And that's why I say like every baby is different, because like I had a whole ass identity crisis after my second baby
Yeah,
because
you
of,
had 10
yeah,
years.
because of the fact that I had waited so long in between. And like I was so incredibly like myself and like happy. My body looked the way that I wanted it to. I was the healthiest I've ever been. Like it was just a totally crazy time. And
Yeah, that's
I
so
I
interesting.
do miss that, because I while I did have Maddie still, I was still a parent, I was still a mother, I still had something holding me down. At the same time, like she really wasn't holding me down, because she was self-sufficient. She was, like big enough to not be all over me. And it's such a
Yeah.
freeing thing. It really is. And like
I
it's just
feel like
interesting.
that's such a reminder as to how fleeting the overstimulation actually
Oh
is.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like as you're saying that, it's just reminding me, like, this is so temporary and it's such a short amount of time in the long run.
Yeah.
So
It
I
really
feel like
is.
that's so interesting that you do have that perspective because I don't. Like,
Yeah, like
I don't
I
have
can
that
tell
perspective at
you,
all.
yeah, like what it's like to have a kid for a decade, and like the things that you go through throughout that decade. Like I feel like a lot of people our age like don't have that outlook, and then also having the outlook of having babies while you have an older child.
Yeah, that's like so interesting. I'm
You
so glad
have
that we have
so
different
much knowledge.
perspectives.
Yeah, like I feel like I have so much knowledge that like other people with babies don't have, just because I have a grown baby. And like that may
Yeah, for
sound like a little
real.
ignorant, but like, or whatever the word is, arrogant, ignorant, I don't even know, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I just have such a different perspective on things. And
No,
sometimes
you
it
definitely do.
helps me sometimes, because I know that like I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to like the hard things that happen when you're in this stage of like babies. But
Right.
at the same time, it's sad because it is a reminder that it goes by so fast.
Oh my God, my mom. So my mom, for everyone who doesn't know about her, she has 6 kids. I have 11 younger siblings. My mom has 6. So I feel like even if I were to like talk to my mom about this exact same topic, like she really wouldn't be able to give you the same outlook that you have because she's always had little kids. Like since she was 18, she's always had a young child in the house,
Mm,
whether it were me or my brother or my sister or any of the ones that are still so little right now.
yeah,
Um, that's just like so interesting.
yeah,
So many people who don't have that age gap don't have that perspective. So I don't think it's arrogant or ignorant or whatever you want to call it. I think it's actually like a very, very interesting perspective to have.
yeah. I agree. And it's funny because like before, I was so upset that I had such an age gap. I was like actually devastated about it. Like when I first had Maddie, I really wanted to have all my kids closer together. I
Right.
I wanted what I have now with like my two youngest. That's what I wanted, and I was devastated when I realized that I couldn't have that. But it's interesting because like the relationship that like Maddie has with Sienna, like like they're like it's just so interesting. Why I ever
Yeah.
thought that it would be like a bad thing, because like it's not, and I have this perspective that like I never would have had before.
Yeah. I think it's really nice too because Maddie can help you
Yes,
and
yeah, yeah. So
she can give them advice when they're older too. Like I
yeah,
love watching my youngest siblings and like talking to them about life and like just it's so interesting even just having a sibling with such a big gap. I think my youngest sibling and I have like an 18-year gap or no, we have like a
that's
22-year gap.
crazy.
Yeah. But like that's so cool too, even just from her perspective, being the oldest sister and having that 9-year age gap is so cool. I mean,
Yeah,
my teenage sister, we only have an 8-year gap and we're like best friends now, even though we're such a big difference in age.
yeah.
Do you ever like grieve the old you? I know that you said that you don't really have like an identity before because you were so young when you had your first baby, but do you ever grieve her? Like
I
who you were before
don't
Maddie?
I don't grieve the me before Maddie, because I was a child. And I honestly I feel like where my mindset was at, I think that having her was probably the best thing I could have done for myself at that point. I don't really know where I would have ended up. Honestly, I think that I was not the most mature at that time, and like I even look back, like when I was in my mid 20s, I would look back and be like, wow, I wish I would have went to college now. You know, like I
Yeah.
wasn't ready to do any of that back then. So like it's kind of messed up that I had a kid, but like I feel like I needed it because I don't know where I would have been. I just
It
like
like
I wasn't
shot you into
ready.
adulthood.
Yeah, like I wasn't I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't really in the mindset of knowing, and then once I was in that mindset, mid 20s, it was kind of like a, oh my God, like this is why, people don't go anywhere when they're 18 because they literally have no idea, you know?
Right.
So
Well,
that's kind
okay.
of where I was.
Follow-up question. Do you grieve who you were before Sienna then, between Maddie
Yes,
and Sienna?
absolutely. Absolutely, I do. Because I don't know I kind of know about you, but like for me, my children have put a very, very, very heavy weight on my relationship. And I grieve the relationship that we had prior to us having kids 1000%. Like 1000%.
Yeah, but do you grieve you?
I
Like,
do because
I
I
feel
think
like
that
it's,
I've changed because of that. So like
yeah.
although yeah, like a relationship changed, like I changed, which I think initiated that relationship change too,
Okay,
you
yeah, that
know?
makes sense. I
Because
I
like
definitely go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh. No, I was just saying cuz like when it comes to like the overstimulated thing and like that's on me, and like that changed our relationship. The strain of the kids changed me, which changed my outlook on us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like it changed you and that changed your relationship and you're grieving both.
Yes, absolutely. And I know it's gonna come back, but like that's the thing. Like I know that
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to the way I was. It didn't change me permanently. It just changed my my
Your situation.
annoyances now, you know.
Yeah.
It's all situational. Yeah.
I feel like I don't feel that way about my former self. I feel very similarly to how you did with Maddie. Like you needed that. You needed that. You weren't in the best place or like you weren't mature. I wasn't in the best place. I needed to grow up. I needed to take better care of myself and get my life on track. Um, and so I feel like she was the exact right thing that needed to happen to like put me in the right place in life. So I don't grieve my former self. I kind of miss the freedom that I had. But then again, I wouldn't trade that freedom for what I have right now. I like this a
Right.
lot more. It's healthier, it's more consistent.
Yeah.
But I do pity my old self, I guess. Like I was in such a dark place, and Charlotte has brought such a light into my life that I wish I could go back and tell her like who I was beforehand, that like just hang on, like life is going to get so good for you so soon, like it's not that terrible.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't grieve my old life. I would not go back. I would never want to be that person again, but I definitely pity her because she did not realize how great life could actually be, and my daughter definitely gave me that sense of hope, you know.
Yeah. No, I agree with that in a lot of ways.
But there's definitely still losses, you know. There's definitely still a lot of things that you give up to be a mom, and even with my perspective, like that motherhood like really almost in all ways benefited me. There are still things that, I gave up too, and
Yeah.
that's
Well,
normal and that's okay.
it's like you can't sleep the same anymore. You can't shower in the same way that you used to shower. Like there's just all these, you can't eat in the same way that you used
No,
to eat. I mean, it's
food's
like
always cold.
everything is different.
Always cold.
Every aspect of your life is different. You can't drive in the same way you used to drive. You can't listen to the same music you used to listen to. It's like, so yeah, there are losses, even though there are, things that you've gained from that for sure.
her 18-month appointment was yesterday, and my doctor was like, "Are you co-sleeping still? Are you still breastfeeding?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, is she keeping you up throughout the night?" I'm like, "For sure." She's like, "Oh my God, how long has it been since you've had a full night of sleep?" And I said, 2 years. It's been over 2 years because
Yeah,
during my pregnancy, even she was kicking me in the ribs all night and I couldn't sleep right. So yeah, there's definitely losses, like just in bodily autonomy. I haven't slept in 2 years of good
literally,
night's sleep.
literally same. It's been like 3 for me. It's awful.
Oh my God.
But I know it'll be better at some point. But like that's why I'm done having children. Because I'm like I'm good. We'll go through the last one and then I'll be sleeping again in no time.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Like
miss. I'm gonna miss not getting kicked in my throat while I'm sleeping
no,
one day.
literally, like
Maybe.
it's like
What were
it's so bittersweet.
what were your expectations about motherhood versus the reality? Like what were you expecting that they're actually it's so different.
Um, I think I think I was expected to be like more on a pedestal as a mother. And I feel like mothers are not on a pedestal at all.
Wait, explain that. What do you mean?
Like I feel like mothers are kind of held to the standard of like okay, like you are to be a mother, but like you can't be anything else. And
I agree.
I don't think that I think I thought going into motherhood, but then again, I was really young, that mothers were like the holy of all holy beings in the family. And like they would be on a pedestal and they would be allowed to do and does that make sense?
It does kind of make sense, and it's interesting that you say that because I do sort of still think that way. Like maybe it's just like a difference in age, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm treated that way. Like maybe you were expecting to be treated like that, but I do feel like in my mind at least, mothers are the holiest of all holy. Like
They
mothers,
are. And I think that's where I'm missing is that they should be treated in that way. And I think that mothers are not treated in that way.
no, they're definitely not. I do think that we deserve a lot more fucking respect than we get because we are the
Absolutely.
most badass creatures that
We
have ever
literally
walked the
make the
planet.
world we make everything go round, like actually.
God, I feel like we need to live in a matriarchy. I know I've made videos about this on TikTok. I swear, I find women in general, but specifically mothers, to be such divine creatures.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from. What about like bounce back culture? Like, did you feel a lot of pressure to bounce back after you had your babies?
Um, I didn't feel pressured, but I also am hard. I'm a hard one to like ask about that because I didn't gain a lot of weight during my pregnancies and I didn't really have much to bounce back from, to be honest.
Well, not even just physically, like emotionally, mentally,
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
professionally.
I don't think people understand that after you have a baby, you're like, your head and your whole life is turned upside down. And I think that people, like, I think that's a huge thing that we talked about last time is that, like, people expect you to be okay through everything.
Yeah.
No. Like people expect it just to be normal. And I think that's weird because like you literally just your whole world just turned upside down. We should not be expected to be okay with it.
I definitely relate to that. Like I feel like a lot of the pressure that I felt to bounce back, I kind of put that pressure on myself.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Um, but then when people would compliment things that I was doing right, like for example, weight, whenever I would get a compliment saying that like, oh, I look great for just having a baby,
Yeah.
that would fuel that. I'd be like, okay, this is what I need to be doing. I need to bounce back. People are noticing. I need to bounce back. And every comment that I got, even just like you're handling motherhood so well, you're handling postpartum so well, it fueled me. Like I had to keep getting those compliments. I had to keep proving myself almost because I feel like a lot of I was not as young as you were when I had Charlotte, but in today's terms, I would say that I'm still kind of a young mom. Most of my friends don't have kids yet, like most people I went to high school with. And
Yeah.
I felt like I had to prove that I could handle this. I'm qualified to be a mom. I'm old enough to be a mom. I'm mature enough. So I had to bounce back because if I didn't, I felt like maybe I wouldn't be taken seriously as a young mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be treated like a child anymore. I mean, I'm the oldest child. I was the first grandchild. I was the first niece, nephew, and I wanted to rip away from being a child in my family's eyes and in my friends' eyes. And so I felt like that was a lot of pressure too, being the first one to have a kid and having to prove myself as not only a mother, but an adult. Like I can handle this, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I relate to that when it comes to Maddie. But like with like Sienna, when it comes to like physically bouncing back, I agree with the comments though about people being like, "Oh, you look great. Like, how did you just have a baby? Like, there's no way you just had a baby." You know, and but I feel like those comments also come at you and like people give you those comments sideways too.
Oh yeah, for
You know?
sure.
Like and that
I
would
know
like
most of them
irritate me.
aren't. Yeah. You look great for just having a baby.
Yeah. Like, well, and but like not even that though. Like for instance, I just had a wedding a couple months ago and so I'm like a year postpartum and like I was talking to somebody and they asked me a question and I said I had 3 kids. And a bridesmaid actually, I like overheard her talking shit about how I look that way and I had 3 kids and she was like, "I don't look like that and I have 3 kids." And it's like, "What?"
Like
What?
I hate that.
Like
Like, do I
why?
not look enough like a mom to
Yeah,
you?
like I'm sorry I bounced back quote unquote in the way that people expect and you didn't, but like that's you don't I don't know why people feel the need to bounce back
Also,
like other people.
people need to take into consideration, specifically if, one person in someone's eyes bounced back better than somebody else did. Either way, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes medically and
Yeah.
psychologically. There could be a very negative reason that you might have bounced back, or there could be a very negative reason why they didn't. And
Right.
no one has any right to say that.
But like
Like,
also, like you shouldn't feel pressure to bounce back physically. Like
mm-mm.
when it comes to like all the hormones and all of the things that go into that first year of motherhood, like if you retain a little bit of your baby weight, that's fine. And that's your
And it's
body.
healthy.
Yeah. Like your body's retaining it for a reason, especially if you're breastfeeding. So, like, and everyone's going to lose their baby weight in all different ways. I personally just didn't really gain any baby weight, but I will say that my body does look different. And when people like will discredit me on that and they'll be like, "No, you look so good. There's no way." And I'm like, "No, but I'm telling you, I feel different." Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if I'm thin. It doesn't matter if I'm not overweight, quote unquote. I still have an identity shift from my body changing because it did change. I don't look the same.
No, and I think that's something else that people like neglect to see is that even if you did lose the baby weight, which isn't necessary, you don't have to lose the baby weight. It's like no one should feel pressured to do that in the first place. But if you
Yeah.
did, people are still neglecting to see that, your hips change, your
Yes.
stomach changes, your skin changes,
It's
your
just so
face kind of
different. It's just
changes.
everything's so different and like you still can feel badly about it or any type of way that you feel about it, self-conscious, whatever. And like it just irritates me when people like discredit that because you're quote unquote thinner, you know?
Yeah, I
I
feel like body
hate
shaming just
that.
overall needs to stop.
It's horrible. Like, and like I don't know. It's like it's a hard one because while I understand, when people gain too much weight and they'll feel bad about that, but like I also feel bad when you discredit how I feel about my body because I'm not fat. Like that also
Yeah,
makes me feel like shit because like yeah, I still have insecurities no matter what, you know? Like
yeah, like
we all are allowed to have insecurities no matter what they are and no matter what our post baby bodies look like.
On a more positive note, are there any things that you've done that like help you reconnect with yourself, whether it's physically or mentally? Like any small acts?
I actually really struggle with this.
Really?
I actually like people will be like, "What do you do for yourself?" And I'm like, "I honestly don't know." Like I feel like when I get time away from my kids, it's usually to like go to a doctor's appointment or to go to work and like deal with other people. So like I'm kind of getting like a break when I go do that, and like it is fun for me, but at the same time like I still have to be in that mindset of like this is what I do for work.
Right.
So like that's nice, and like I do that for me at the same time, but like it's not really the same. You know what I mean? Like my head's still responsible for something. So I do that for me, but at the same time, that's not really what people are looking for when they ask that question.
I feel like, I mean, that's so valid though. Like that's so real, even though that's not necessarily what some people might be looking for. It's valid. Like, and that has so much to do with the identity shift is that time for you looks a lot different when you're a mom. Time for me before I had a baby was, me taking a nap or me
Yeah,
going shopping by myself and buying myself something and having the time to like look at every single thing I wanted to do or going on a hike by myself
yeah,
or like painting or doing a craft. And you can't really find a lot of alone time like that as a mom. So now I guess time for me to reconnect with myself is like after Charlotte falls asleep, doing a full skincare routine or like taking the time to really do my makeup while she's occupied and looking the way that not the way that I used to look because I do my makeup differently, obviously, but like putting as much effort into myself as I would have to go out before I had her. And those moments I feel like kind of help me feel more like myself again.
yeah,
Or journaling too. Actually, I started journaling. I feel like I've been journaling on and off my whole life, but I really wanted something to be able to pass down to my children, like after I die in however many years. I wanted something tangible that they could have and they could get to know me even after I was gone and like my grandkids and, you know, future generations. So I started journaling and I just started writing down everything I felt. And I feel like that has been a really, really, really good tool too to help me connect with myself and going back and reading my past journal entries and my current ones and just seeing how I'm changing and getting everything down on paper has been a really, really good tool to help me feel closer to myself too.
yeah. I wish I could do that. I like don't even know if I could bring myself to like do that.
I
I
have a really
do.
cute journal.
Yeah,
So
that
that's why.
probably helps. I do enjoy shopping by myself. I do
I
like
know what
that.
I'm getting you for Christmas.
Yeah, no, I enjoy spending money by myself. That's fun. No matter what it is. I can just like walk around a store and I do enjoy that. And actually that's like my go-to if my husband and I are like bickering and I just get like to the point where I'm like fed up. I just leave and I go shopping because I know it makes me feel better. I can walk around the store in peace. Like I'll even like take my laptop and I'll sit in a parking lot and I'll like edit pictures and then I'll go inside the store and I'll walk around. So I guess I do that, but it's only brought on by if I'm angry enough to leave my house. So
I feel like similarly, like if I have a babysitter for Charlotte, a lot of times Jack will go to the gym and he'll have time for himself and I'll go to the thrift store and I will not leave the thrift store until I have looked at every single item in
yeah,
the entire
you have
store.
to.
Yeah, and that makes me feel, oh my God, she just fucking need me in the spleen. Ow. That makes me feel very redeemed. Like that's such a primal urge for me to scavenge.
Yeah, it just like
I
it
feel like
definitely
myself.
it like fuels you up, I feel like back up a little bit.
Yeah, it's serotonin straight into my fucking bloodstream.
Because retail therapy is therapy.
100%.
It is. It
100%.
I cannot explain to you the amount of times that I have went shopping and I have felt so much better.
I
So,
also Oh, and also if I get to a car ride by myself, blasting music and rolling all the windows down and singing at the top of my lungs like I would have in high school, that makes me feel great. That makes me feel like myself.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I did make a TikTok video, and I asked in the TikTok video, what surprised you most about your identity shift as a mom? And I do want to read one comment. And that comment was, I've always been an introvert, but in motherhood, I crave connection. Some days I feel desperate for it. I found that really interesting because while I crave adult connection, I would say more so now I'm an introvert.
Really.
Yeah, I think that has made me an introvert because,
I actually, you know what? I kind of agree.
yeah.
I kind of agree. I have always been a very, very, very extroverted person. What, baby? I grew up around so many kids, you know. I feel like I've just always loved being around other people, and I've always loved like going out and partying and being in crowds, like all of that right up my alley. But as a mom, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I feel like I never leave the house anymore, and I've become
Yeah.
very comfortable in my solitude with my child.
Yes, like I don't want to leave the house, but at the same time, like if I can go out without my kids, oh, you bet your ass I will be there. You know? Like and I will thrive and I will hang out with adults and I will chit chat, but like it's weird. It's like a weird I don't know, it's strange. I don't
I feel
know.
like for me, I've just become a lot more. I feel like I was uncomfortable with myself. I was not very confident in myself. I was kind of uncomfortable with the idea of me before I had her, and I've gained a lot of confidence since I've had her. I know I'm a kick-ass mom, and that helps. I'm a good mom, and I think I'm a decent person, and that has helped a lot. And now I'm like comfortable with the idea of just hanging out with me because I'm fucking cool,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really what changed it. And I've also like made a comfy little cozy place for my family, and I don't really want to leave the coziness.
Well, right.
Well,
Because, like, what's the point?
yeah, like especially as a stay-at-home mom, I can see how it would be overwhelmingly introverted and like make you more of an introvert because you're the homemaker. Like you are making your house a home, and once you've made it the way that you like, why would you want to
Why
leave?
would you want to leave? Yeah. But then I also see, like, her side too of, like, it making you more of an extrovert, which is interesting. I feel differently on that. But I could definitely see how you would be more of an extrovert
Yeah, I feel like
because you're so trapped and you're, like,
you're so
craving that.
trapped. And you're with someone all day, whether
Yeah.
that's someone else or your child, you know, you're still with someone all day. That's bound to make an introvert more extroverted.
Yeah. It's interesting.
But
It's an interesting outlook on it for
I
sure.
also feel like people who don't really have a good support system as a mother would crave that. Like you do crave connection. You crave someone to understand what you're going through and to be able to talk to. Like luckily I found that in you and other friends that I've made through the village, you know, but some people don't really have that, and it makes sense why it would change them into wanting to be more of an extroverted person and not having the means to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure because see, that's interesting because I feel like I didn't really have like a big support system and I feel like it made me more introverted. Because I'm like, okay, well, I have no one to talk to about this that would understand, so like I'm just going to shut the fuck up kind of a thing. But
I
then
get that.
but then again, like I found you, like that's changed and I feel more comfortable, you know.
Yeah, I guess it really
So
is just up to the person
it's
how
so
it affects you.
situational, I feel like. I feel like it's just very situational. I think at this point in motherhood, I definitely am more of an introvert, but I think maybe that changes in different obviously different points in
But
motherhood.
seasons.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I think that can definitely change. And I could attest to that actually because when Maddie was, 4 or 5, I definitely was more of an extrovert for sure. So yeah, I can totally agree that that would change.
Yeah, you had the opportunity to be more of an extrovert, so
Yeah,
you
for
went.
sure. When you exactly. And I always think like especially now that it's summer, like I'm that kind of person where I'm like, okay, well, when my youngest is a little bit older, we'll do all these things, Cuz like with a baby it's just so much. Especially if you don't
Yeah.
have anyone to do it with you, like it's just hard. So like
Yeah.
I'm constantly thinking like, okay, like when she's older, I'll do this, 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 and this. But like I know it's true, you know? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
just blowing smoke up my ass. Like, I know for a fact that, like, once my kids are older, like, I will become more extroverted and I will want to do more things with them when it's easier to do so. And maybe that's selfish of me, but like,
I don't think that's
I'm
selfish.
not doing something with my baby and my toddler for me to have a miserable freaking time.
Yeah, it's just easier to
You
make
know,
memories at
it's just
home.
easier to not at this point. And like, when they're older and it's easier, then like, by all means, I would love to be more extroverted. Like,
No, I think that's so valid. But also, you have like an extroverted job too. Like you're always,
I do.
you
Yeah.
might feel more introverted, but like when you're out at work and
Yeah.
you're at weddings all the time talking to all these people that you don't know, maybe that's also like contributing to some burnout. Like maybe it's your social
That's
battery.
very true. Yeah, no, that's very true.
Because like when I was a bartender, after the weekend of working with hundreds of people and being around people all week, I just wanted to lay in my fucking bed. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing anything because I know on Friday I'm going to be around all these random people and my social battery will be drained.
Right. Yeah. No, I felt the same way when I was a bartender too. It was like such a
Even
socially draining job.
even after 4th of July weekend, we spent the whole weekend out doing stuff and I don't want to go anywhere. I don't
Yeah.
want to do anything. I just want to sit at home and rot.
Yeah, no, I'm a total bed rotter and I that's one thing I miss pre-babies is
Oh my God.
I could lay in bed for days and it would be like the happiest time. And
Yeah, I just want to doom scroll.
oh my God, I hate that I can't do that. I want to just
I
lay in
know.
bed. I want to lay in bed all the
I want to
time.
lay in bed and work on my Pinterest board and
Like,
listen
I
to music.
miss that. I miss laying in bed until God knows what time. Like, I miss it. And I wish I could do that.
You know
But
what I miss? I miss binge watching TV
oh my
shows
God, that
for myself.
too. I'm so behind on all my TV shows.
I miss watching like I don't know. I used to watch I like different shows than you do. You like reality and I like I don't know. Mostly like thrillers or like scary shit. But I used to sit in bed and I would watch fucking American Horror Story for
Yeah.
days
No,
on
I used to do the
end.
same thing.
I would like completely dissect shows and like I would read so much. I miss reading books.
Yeah, no,
I can't fucking do
same.
that.
I miss reading books.
You can't really do that. When are you gonna do that? When your kid's sleeping? Well, I'm trying to catch up on sleep too.
Yeah, no, I miss reading books so bad.
Just the little details that I miss. I don't miss the vast majority.
Yeah. And I also think that, like, when it comes to the identity shift in motherhood, like, while, yeah, you are going to have an identity shift at the end of the day, like, you're like growing into someone that you are meant to be, you
Oh,
know?
I so agree with that. I
And like,
so agree with
yeah,
that.
like you're not that's the version of you that is you're supposed to grow into and you just need to lean into it and you're not losing yourself, you're gaining more of yourself and it'll come in time. Like literally it comes within the
It'll
years.
surprise you.
Yeah, for sure. And you grow into your new body. You believe it or not, after so many years after having your babies, like it does get better. You know, like even if you think it's not going to, like your body, you do grow back into your body and you do learn to love your body again.
And I think going into it, the better outlook that you have, the better
Yeah, for
will
sure.
be. Like
Yeah.
if you go into motherhood and you're absolutely um just not looking forward to it. You're not looking forward to being a mom. You're not looking forward to the changes. You're being very pessimistic about oh my God. You're being very pessimistic about it. You're not gonna have the best time. But if you go into it and you accept that you're gonna change and you embrace the changes, you're gonna love who you are.
Yeah. You
It
just have
really is
to,
about
yeah,
perspective.
yeah, for sure. It is about perspective, and that perspective is knowing that while it might be like a little challenging at this point, like it does get better, and you do feel grounded again after, you get your footing in motherhood, literally.
Totally.
Like you have to get your footing, but you do
I
start to feel
completely
better. It just
agree.
takes a while.
I completely agree.
But to end the episodes from now on, we're gonna do a little recall list of baby items, food items that are related to baby's formula, all that. that have been recalled. So what
Super
are
important topic.
yeah, super important. So um if I could so first baby item that has been recalled currently in the USA um is the Fisher Price tissue box toy. It's the Snugga Puppy Activity Center.
Oh,
The reason why it has been recalled is because a bracket can detach and pose a choking risk. And it was sold in between the years of 2022 and 2025. So if you bought a Snooga Puppy Activity Center in those years, 2022 to 2025, look on your model, look up this recall and see if yours has been recalled. The second item that has been recalled is the Fisher Price Brunch and Go stroller toy. The egg yolk can crack, releasing small parts. 5 incidents have been reported,
oh my
and
God.
this is in the US. In addition to those items being recalled, the Melly baby silicone spoons have been recalled. The spoon tips have been breaking, causing a choking hazard. So if you have any of the Melly baby silicone spoons, get rid of those. And lastly, the Babamore and Superb Sports baby bath seats. If you have one of those, um, the bath seats are unstable and they often tip and they will risk drowning. So if you have any of those baby bath seats by Babamore, get rid of those.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
So that's the current recall list. We will be back next week with more of those. And yeah, that was basically it. I feel like
Char-
we're at our time.
Charlotte says bye.
Yeah.
Say bye.
um, so we'll be back next Monday.
Yeah, I hope that you found this episode interesting and gained some knowledge or even just felt less alone in what you're dealing with at the moment.
If you have any questions, comments, suggestions for next episode, please drop a comment on any of our either episodes on Spotify, YouTube, or on TikTok. Let us know your thoughts and if you want us to include anything in the next episode. And we thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
We love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.